On Saturday at the Middle Kingdom A&S Faire, I was pulled over to the side by a lady before I entered into the building, and she was asking me about my skirt and was inquiring how to do a pattern for the skirt that I was wearing. It was, to me, a simple Gore skirt, which is just trapezoids all kind of sewn together. I think I was running late for the judges meeting. Either way, I told her where to look for me later, and I tried to keep an eye out for her, but I couldn't find her. And so I'm hoping that this video reaches her to help further explain how to do a skirt. And there are different types of ways to make a simple skirt for the SCA. You can do a simple rectangular piece of fabric, sew down the one side to have a one side seam. For the purposes of just a simple demonstration, I'm going to use a napkin. And so say you have one piece of rectangular fabric, you could do a simple skirt by folding it over and then having one side seam. And then this could be where you put the waistband, and then this down here would be your hem. The only problem is all of this is a lot of fabric bunched up around your waist while you don't have much legroom down here. Here is a skirt that I made when I was 16, and I still sometimes use it as an underskirt. It is 2 curtains sewn together, and so it's 2 rectangular pieces sewn together. I put elastic in the waistband, and this is just a simple example of what 2 rectangles sewn together will look like. Another type of skirt that you can do, I personally have not made a skirt like this, but I have made cloaks using the same pattern, and that is to do a half circle. And so with that, you would take your fabric, your rectangular fabric, again I'm using the napkin, and then you would fold it over, and then from here you would cut a little circle, well, a quarter of a circle here, and then another one down here, and then when you open it up you would have a half circle. Now if you really want a full circle or a full skirt, then you would do this twice, and then you would sew on both sides, and then you would wind up with, this would be one half of your skirt, and then this would be the other half of the skirt. I think the one issue for me personally with doing a skirt like that is getting the waistband just the right size and also trying to hem around that. But the good thing is all along your skirt, since it would be a full circle or a half circle depending on how full you want your skirt, is that it will be the same length, the same radius all the way through. And so then you don't have to worry about your hem as much with hemming the skirt as you would a Gore skirt, because again, the diameter will be the same all through the circular skirt, whereas with a Gore skirt, you will sometimes wind up with little triangle pieces, or, well, I guess diamond-shaped pieces down at the bottom. So with using this napkin as just an example for making a Gore skirt, we'll say that this is how long I want one panel, and from here I will fold over my fabric, and then I will measure from one end and also from the other end. And again, this will depend on how many panels you have in the skirt versus what your waist measurement is. But for the purposes of this demonstration, my napkin here is a little over 3 inches wide. So what I will do is I will mark it at 3/4 of an inch here. And then that's from the edge, it's 3/4 of an inch. So then from this side, I'm going to mark from the fold 3/4 of an inch. Now that I've got my 2 dots, then you will take your yardstick, or in the case of this, I'm using a ruler here, and then you will plot your points from here to here and then draw a line. And then this shows you where you need to cut is on this diagonal line. Now that I have my panels cut out with this, I've opened it up, and then this one, I would sew a seam along here. That way this also becomes a panel, and then you want to flip it around. And now you have this panel and then this sewn panel, and you have two panels to your skirt. This right here is your waistband, so then you have less fabric around the waist. And then this down here is the hem of the skirt. Again, you want to allow seam allowance for both the waistband and also your hem. This is the skirt that I was asked about on Saturday. It has a total of 8 trapezoid panels in it, and on the bottom hem of each trapezoid it measures 27 inches. I also cheated and put elastic in the waistband. For the waistband of your skirt, if you are just doing a simple rectangular skirt where each panel is a simple rectangle, then I would just suggest taking your skirt and folding it over. Just fold it over a tiny bit and then fold it over again. That way you've got space here, and you want to allow enough space for whatever you're using. If you are using a drawstring, if you're using historically inaccurate elastic, which I am guilty of, whatever it is, you want to leave enough space there, but you want to fold over the fabric here. That way your fabric will not unravel when you wash in the washing machine or just even daily use. But that is how to do a waistband for just simply a rectangular piece. If you are going to do a semicircle or a full circle skirt, or if you're going to do a Gore skirt, you can do the same thing and fold over the waistband once and then twice. Or the other thing that you can do for your waistband is to take a strip of fabric, and so I'm just using this, but we'll say I want a waistband that is 2 inches in width. Well, what I would do is I would measure out about maybe 5 inches, and however long my waist measurement is, plus a little bit for seam allowance. But the reason why I say 5 inches is you want to be able to fold the fabric over and then tuck in both ends. So let me show you. So for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm using a napkin, and we'll say that this right here is how long I want my waist measurement to be, plus a little bit of seam allowance. And then from there I would measure down if I wanted a 2-inch waist, a 2-inch diameter, but you want to have it be able to where you could fold it over and also have some seam allowance. So for the purposes of this, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I said 5 inches, so that would be here, and then you just plot your points. If this was fabric, I would be using chalk or at least pins to help mark where I'm going to be cutting. But since this is a napkin, it's okay. I've plotted my points. I've created my line. Okay, for this demonstration, I've cut out what I want to use as a waistband. And so from here, I would fold over my fabric here and fold over my fabric here. And then once that is folded over, let's see if I can get that to stay. And then from here, I would fold over everything like this. And then this would be the waistband. This would be the very top of my waistband. And then here where the two edges are that are open right here, this is where I would feed in the top part of the skirt and then pin everything together and then sew. This is where you can, on the ends of your, I guess I should have also shown that, on the ends of the waistband before doing this, I would first fold in your end here fold in your end here, then fold in your edges here and here. This is going to be a bit tricky. Oop, there we go. And then fold over everything. This just allows for there not to be any fraying on the edges. So everything's folded in, and then you tuck in your skirt into here, and then from here you would sew your skirt to your waistband, and over here you can choose to put in hooks and eyes, or a large skirt hook and eye, and then this would be your waistband, and then your skirt would come out from underneath. This is a really good way using the waistband if you have, say, a bodice that is maybe shorter on the torso, and if you move around a lot, this will help hide your shirt underneath. Two ways you can put the skirt into the waistband. One is you can do pleating, and with that you can choose how you want to pleat. You could go like this and then just fold it over like that and have all of the pleats going in one direction. You could also have your pleats fold one here and then fold one there, and then have your pleats facing each other. I actually like this just because when you are looking at the fabric, it looks like there's not much there until you move, and then it opens up as you move. The flip side of that is if you want to have a pleat going this way, and then fold your fabric over the other way and have a pleat going that way, and then you could do that again later on. And have pleat, pleat, pleat. You can do pleat, pleat, pleat. This is something you can play around with. And if you decide you do not want to do pleating, you would rather have it gathered into the waistband. Personally, I find pleating, one, to be historically accurate, but also I find it to be a lot easier to put into the waistband and then sew. But if you want to gather, run a straight stitch through this fabric. Do not go reverse, just go straight through. And that way you have strings on either end. You've not gone through, you've not hit reverse to secure the stitches, so you just have a simple, you've run your machine through, or the fabric through the machine, you have one simple line, and then you can pull the strings here and pull the strings on this side, and this will slowly kind of pucker together. And then once you get it to a set point that you like, then you can fit it into the waistband. Thank you for checking out my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video and would like to watch more of my videos, please follow the links on the side of the page. Please select thumbs up that you like the video. It helps with the algorithm. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below, and please click subscribe and ring that bell to be updated when new videos come out.